Nanyehi, beloved woman of the Cherokee. Born in 1738 in Chota, Tennessee, Nanyehi grew up around violent clashes with white settlers and other Indian tribes. She knew she had to find peace between the two cultures for Cherokee survival. The Cherokee Nation included the Carolinas, northern Georgia, and eastern Tennessee. Each village had its own government and a clan system. In the Cherokee matriarchal society, women had a voice and power in daily life. She chose her husband, her children lived in her house, and were a member of a clan. Nanyehi belonged to her mother's tribe, the Wolf Clan. At 17, Nanyehi was a widow with 2 children, her son Five Killer and daughter Catherine. The Battle of Talowa in 1755 between the Cherokee and the Creeks over territory in northern Georgia claimed the life of her husband, Kingfisher. Nanyehi, armed with Kingfisher's rifle, led the Cherokee warriors to a decisive victory over the Creeks. Upon her return, she was honored with the title of Beloved Woman and used her powers to the fullest potential. As Beloved Woman, Nanyehi had a more political power than any other woman. She had full authority over the fate of prisoners. She was the leader of the Cherokee Women's Council and a voting member of the Council of Chiefs. She was the final arbitrator of all decisions affecting the Cherokees. In the late 1750s, Nanyehi provided food for European settlers at a trading post in Fort Loudon, South Carolina. She met and had a short-term marriage to Bryant Ward, an English trader who was already married to a woman in South Carolina. She and Bryant had a daughter named Betsy. She learned English, which allowed her to negotiate with settlers and the U.S. government. During the 1760s, many white settlers from the Carolinas, Virginia, and Georgia began to move into the East Tennessee region. Nanyehi's response to both Cherokees and settlers was this: "The white men are our brothers. The same house shelters us, and the same sky covers us all." The control of North America was central to the French and Indian War and the American Revolution. In 1776, she saved many settlers' lives in Tennessee by warning them of the imminent attacks by the Cherokee Army, most led by her cousin, Dragon Canoe. He was the son of the Cherokee chief and sided with the British troops during the American Revolution. Nanyehi used her power with the council to promote peace over battle. War continued between the Cherokees and the settlers, and with the exception of Nanyehi's village, many Cherokee villages were destroyed by the North Carolina militia. Most military officials respected Nanyehi, but the Cherokee would lose territory after several military invasions. She saved settler woman Lydia Bean, who was captured and going to be burned to death by the Cherokee. Lydia taught Nanyehi how to spin yarn, weave cloth, raise cattle, and dairy cows for butter and cheese, which Nanyehi taught to other Cherokees. These new skills brought further independence to the Cherokee. In 1781, Ward told the settlers that the Cherokee would attack again in the newly settled territory. The settlers demanded a peace treaty, and in July 1781, Nanyehi led the Second Treaty of Long Island in Tennessee with settlers from Virginia and North Carolina. Because of Nanyehi's influence, the Treaty of Long Island had no demands by settlers to take Cherokee territory. She spoke to the U.S. Treaty Commission in Tennessee on her hope for peace. "You know that women are always looked upon as nothing. But we are your mothers. You are our sons. Our cry is all for peace. Let it continue. This peace must last forever. Let your women's sons be ours, our sons be yours. Let your women hear our words." The Long Island area was of strategic military importance in the first 2 years of the American Revolution and in future land ownership between the Cherokee and settlers. Nanyehi was instrumental in negotiating the 1786 Treaty of Hopewell, the first treaty between the Native Americans and the U.S. government. The government promised that the settlers would leave the Cherokee land in South Carolina. However, they never did. This would not be the only time a treaty would be broken between the U.S. government and the Cherokees. Nanyehi came to realize that no more land could be given to the white settlers because they always wanted more. She attempted unsuccessfully to convince the Women's Council and the General Council to refrain from selling any more tribal land with this message in 1817. Don't part with any more of our lands, but continue on it and enlarge your farms and cultivate and raise corn and cotton, and we, your mothers and sisters, will make clothing for you. It was our desire to forewarn you all not to part with our lands. In her later years, she cared for orphan children in Chota until 1819. The Hiwassee Purchase forced her and many Cherokees to move south near present-day Benton, Tennessee. She ran an inn in Benton until her death at the age of 84 in 1822, 14 years before the Trail of Tears. Near her death, Nanyehi had a vision, a great line of our people marching on foot, mothers with babies in their arms, fathers with small children on their back. They were marching west, and the Unaka, white soldiers, were behind them. They left a trail of corpses, the weak, the sick, who could not survive the journey.